Live on the Sherry Lord Talk Show podcast. Start your day off with a higher vibrational podcast with weekly guests covering spirituality, healthy foods, and so much more. Go to sherrylord.com for more info. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Sherry Lord podcast. We're so happy to have you. And we have a very special guest, Dr. Joy Pedersen. She's amazing and she's an author, and she's going to share with us. Her topic is your divine purpose. Welcome, Joy. We're so happy to have you. We love having you on our show. You've been on our show quite a few times, but you're very popular and people love you. So welcome back.
Thank you. And I always love it and joining you.
And can you tell people a little bit about yourself? I mean, I could read it all, but I think it's really more authentic coming from your heart of what you do. And I know you're an author, but you're so much more. You've helped people throughout the world and other countries. So can you explain a little bit more about yourself?
Certainly. And I think I'll wrap it around the subject of today, your divine purpose.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
I was created and intended to come here basically to help clean up anything that's been imbalanced throughout history. And I heard about my role when I was little. I had a download that I would be here for the end of the world as we know it. I had no idea what that meant, but here we are, the end of the world as we know it. And it's really at the cusp of changing the world from dark to light. And we got out of balance over history and became too dark. And now the light of God is running the show versus the dark side running the show. And we're just here cleaning up the mess and the imbalances. And I help clients all over the world help rectify some of the imbalances within them, the way darkness may have impacted them, undermined them, or sometimes they've chosen darkness as a path or in a moment because the world got so dark that it was easy to be manipulated to turn to darkness in order to, maybe it was even to save your family. And we're now rectifying that history, the karma that created during those lifetimes. And they haven't been necessarily easy, but those of us that came in this lifetime to help evolve humanity and the planet to go forward, we've had to face a lot of the darkness and the karma to help rectify it.
Wow, there has been a lot of chaos. There's been a lot of stuff and change and light being brung in more. And that's huge for someone who was a child, to get so much information like that and see it unfold in your life as you evolved, that's amazing. You also are an author too. I want people to know that, you're from the heart. You work with Archangel Michael a lot too.
Yes. Michael came to me in 2004 and asked me to join him in a healing practice and to write his book, Wisdom of the Guardian, which I ended up channeling. And I just accepted the role basically because it felt right. It was not an intellectual discussion as much as, I didn't know what I was getting into on an intellectual basis. I probably should have asked better questions, but it was very purposeful. And then what was interesting is the clients that were led to me all seemed to be high beings with a high purpose. So they didn't, like, if I was going to do a typical marketing situation where I would say, okay, who's your target market? I'm not going to sit here and go, well, let me look for the who's who of the Bible who have reincarnated on the planet, because that wouldn't make sense. But in my practice, when I would go into reading past lives and see what the cause of their problems were, a lot of them turned out to be the who's who of the Bible. They were ascended masters. They were angels. They were disciples of Jesus. They had roles throughout history that were mentioned in the Bible. And I had to clean up the cause and effect of some of the trials and errors that they experienced, or the look at what happened at the time of Jesus. I've been clearing that lifetime for many for a long time because it was so graphic. It was so, there was so much trauma involved. And really, it's that trauma throughout history that gets caught within people that leaves them blocked. Like, for example, the light workers today are here to serve, and they're given gifts, and yet many of them don't want to share their gifts. They might do it quietly behind the scenes, but they're not outward expressing the gifts, who they are, what they're here for, because they have fear of persecution.
Yes.
So we need to clear that persecution from those past lives, for them to have the freedom to express themselves fully and to make money at what they're here for. Not all purposes or not everyone's mission or gifts are meant to be public.
Yeah.
And they're not necessarily always meant to make money at them. But if they're not expressing them,
right,
that's really, they're holding back the world, and they're holding back themselves. And that's a shame.
Yeah. So the fear really is a blockage there, and until they realize they're safe, and that it's not the same in this life, but there is such a cellular level of that, for a lot of people.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that cellular memory will trip them up, and their subconscious has it all. So you want to go out and you want to serve the world, and then your subconscious goes, oh no, that didn't end well the last time. So the subconscious, the inner child, will block the person who genuinely wants to serve and get out there. Yeah. Even when I did Michael's book, all I asked Michael is how many chapters, and he said 22. In 23 days, including the intro, I just typed the book, and he dictated it, and it was really easy. And then I sat on it for a long time because I didn't want to tell anybody. I could talk to angels at the time. I worked in a business community, and I'm like, oh my God, how are they going to react? I cleared 8 lifetimes of my own persecution, and all of a sudden I could get the book published. And then it was after that I had to clear like 8 more lifetimes, not all of the persecution, but even being public. And then I could talk about the book. So it becomes like when you release that path, all of a sudden things become more natural and effortless.
Yes, absolutely. It's important to clear. And you also offer that as a service too, I think, to help people clear as well. And she's very good, you guys. I mean, she's really authentic, and I mean, she's really doing her work, and she's a leader. So she's out there. Yeah, she's definitely authentic with what she does, and she's true to what she does too. And we just love having you. The other thing is, can you give us some experiences at some of the things you've had, but also what other people has had, with your work? Kind of like, what have you helped people with?
Well, I just had to clear somebody that was hanged. Oh. So he had stuck energy, and when I looked in, I saw that he had been hanged. So I had to clear that lifetime so he can release some of that. Sometimes I see dark cords. That was another thing that I had to do for him later, cut and sever those dark cords. You never know where somebody has been or what they've been exposed to. So a lot of times I end up clearing past lives of the burning of witches or doomed witches. These people have had gifts, and some of them weren't witches, and they were burned at the stake because of just looking the wrong way. And someone was telling me recently about the 300 years of burning, where if you were of a certain age, older women were burned, anyone that seemed to have a gift. There's so much fear about gifts. I remember when I moved to the last city I lived in, Lakeland, I was told that because I can talk to God directly, I was really talking to the devil. And what people don't understand, when you can channel, you can talk to either. You have to be discerning, just like when you pick up the telephone. You don't, they're not always your best friend that's calling you. You have to know the difference. You have to learn to read energy. You have to be discerning, be in, like if you have a gut reaction to something, follow the gut reaction, but then you have to discern, is this a fear from misinformation? Is this a fear from a past life issue that really I have unhealed? Or is this really an oncoming train that I need to step out of the way from? And until you're really going in and going deep enough to understand your own makeup and your own traumas, you're not going to be able to tell the difference. It just registers as fear. Now the guidance is really to be in the now and surrendered to source, so you can be buoyed to where you need to be now for your highest and best good. But so many of us so easily remember the past, even though we're not conscious of it. And then we live from that, or we're worried about the future. And I'm certainly guilty about worrying about the future at times. I'm not always present in the moment, but that's my goal, is to work on being present in the moment so I can get the downloads that are most appropriate for me now. And so many people are living out of past information, what they were taught in the past. We need to know what is now, because we operate in different realities. And if we're pulling information out of another reality or somebody else's reality, and we're reacting to that. For example, a client this morning was worrying about shootings that took place. And I said to her that it doesn't mean that it's going to happen to you. That may be their karma. The players on the other side that's operating through those fractals on the planet may be pulling the strings for certain events to happen or karma to get cleaned up. We can always take responsibility in what is within us that we're reacting that way and clean it up, or that's actually occurring and clean it up. But it's not for us to necessarily become fearful about it, because we're giving our power away to some other person's storyline.
Yeah, that's so true. And when you catch it, you can change it, but it's to be aware of it, and like we're all connecting. We all having conversations. We all have stories. We all have our own past lives of what we're here to do or what we're here to clear, or of our own selves, to evolve. And we are evolving. And you're right. We got to be in the present moment, because everything's changing. We're not living from where we were. It's constantly changing.
Exactly. And I think the thing that people need to understand too is God changes the plan because he's reading the room. And if he sees an old plan isn't working, then he'll change it. But a lot of people are still attached to the old plan because they don't know any better. But if you're in the present moment, they can be guided accordingly.
Right. Exactly. Life can be a lot easier. It really can be. But what do you want to share with us about your divine purpose?
Well, my mission here was to turn the dark to light and help evolve everything to the highest light. My purpose is really to see the planet safe, surviving, which God already made the choice that the planet will continue. It's not going to implode, which was a possibility, and to help humanity evolve, which really helps the universe evolve. Earth is such a big player and a significant place, but it's like we come into this ride and we go, okay, what is the ride that we want to experience? And some people pick a ride that's a little bit more dramatic than others, but what do we need to know about it? How do we evolve that? What do we need to clear about it? God also taught this, to ask him, what do I need to know, do, or clear? So when we're faced with a trauma or a challenge, what do I need to know, do, or clear about it? And it's really about helping people so they know to turn to source, to go in, get that valuable information, and then follow that guidance. And if they don't have the courage to follow the guidance, what do I need to know, do, or clear about that guidance? why am I stuck? Why am I not following it? And it's that moment by moment exercise of moving forward,
Very good.
asking
Yeah,
and
giving the
moving
people
forward.
choice. Yeah, it's a really good thing for people to know, to ask those questions, because most people don't, and they're just stuck in it. But I think that's a good tool for people to remember. It's just good advice. And thank you, Beth, for joining us. And you have, do you want more you want to share on that? Because I do want to bring up your books, because you are a beautiful author, and I think it's wonderful to share that too.
Well, thank you. The Michael's book really is his guidance on a wide variety of subjects to help people navigate life, and also for those that want to step into heaven on earth, which is here. The new golden age has already been birthed, and the new earth is available to all those who want to ascend to it. So that's a basic guide to help people navigate life. And it's a wonderful tool. And he offers tools at the back of the book for people to be able to look at different scenarios in life, and then prayers or tools to use. So that's a good primer, basically. And then the second book, which is Clear Your Past and Change Your Future, was really about our work together over about a decade and clearing history. And it shares messages from God and Jesus and Archangel Michael and Faith and others. And it talks about how we turned life to the light, being earth to being run by the light of God, and heaven on earth being opened and available to all. And then we're now living in this time of trial and tribulation. Some have gone through the trial of tribulation. Others are still in the muck of it. It depends on what reality that they are in. But when people are able to face their own darkness and understand that everything has light and dark within, and when they can face their own darkness and they can evolve that, they can step into the possibilities of heaven on earth, live in the new golden age, experience new earth. It's all available from someone doing the work on themselves to evolve their own soul, to experience what's possible here on earth now.
How can they order your book? Is it just online? Is it Amazon?
Wisdom of the Garden you can get anywhere.
Okay.
The second book is only available on Kindle right now.
Oh, okay. Wow. Well, that's good, because I know people are going to want to know how to get a hold of how to get the book, because they want to read it, and they want to grow and evolve too. What do you say to people when they see a ghost? I mean, they call it a ghost, an entity. Everybody's got a word for it. How can they clear that? What can they do to clear that?
If they understand the power lies within them,
Right.
they can evolve anything. I remember probably the nastiest one. Well, I've had a lot of nasty cases. But I had a big hairy demon taunting me and trying to undermine me and telling me he's more powerful than God and I'm more powerful than God and all sorts of things. And all I kept saying is, I have no power whatsoever. It's all God. And all I just kept saying is, I don't have any power. It's all God. And I watched this demon melt like the Wicked Witch of the East.
Oh,
And
wow.
it was really funny. And the look on his face was like, wow, he didn't see that one coming. But you really have the power within you. Everyone has God within them. And if they just allow God to work through them, which is the gift of surrender, is so wonderful, because when you just turn it over to Source,
Yeah.
Source can do anything through you. And all those beings just need to be sent to the light or sent back to Source.
Yes.
It's when somebody doesn't feel confident, that's when they get stuck, and that's when they can't let it go.
And they need
their
help.
own fear.
Yeah. Yeah, their own fear is blocking that. Yeah, absolutely. But there's a lot of people that may just be aware of it. They don't know how to handle it. It scares them. It frightens them, and the fear will
Well,
get you stuck. Yeah.
here's the thing. We've released a lot of the
Yes.
demons, the darkness that's running loose on the planet. Now, if people understand that there's ghost energies, their entities or whatever still stuck within them, if they're seeing it, like, oh, okay, it's there. I just noticed it. Now I need to let it go. I need to
Yeah.
send it to source, because you're a sovereign being and you're allowed to send it to source on your own. Anybody can call me if they need help with it, if they're really stuck, but they can do it on their own by just saying they're sending it to source.
Yep. That's good. Good advice for people, because a lot of people are awakening and some people are seeing things that they didn't see before that were in their home. And they don't know what to do, so they get a little scared, because I
Right.
don't know what to do, So
Now
that
I
was
have
good,
people,
good tips.
yeah, because I help people all the time doing some of that, and some of them try to do it on their own and they still can't, and they call me.
Yeah.
But if they still have some kind of an attachment and they don't understand the attachment, that's sometimes where, somebody that can look can help. But
Yeah.
it's also really where somebody is vibrating. If somebody is vibrating low, it's
Yeah.
harder to get rid of it. When they vibrate really high, you can do it like that.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that people need to understand, is the work on their own vibration, to raise their vibration as high as possible that's where the magic lies, is where you're vibrating. So when you're vibrating at a level of fear, it's harder to evolve anything. But when you are vibrating really high, then it's really, your words matter.
Yeah.
You can
And
speak them into the light.
yeah, it's good to remind people they have the power, and the tools. And the tools are always important for people,
Mm-hmm.
people are. But there's a lot of people too who are getting cellular memories of past lives. What do you want to explain to them about that? Like they didn't have it. It's like they're just awakening and they're starting to get these images and
I think, well, a lot of people, if they didn't even believe in reincarnation before, may be shocked. But we've
exactly.
all lived before, and sometimes many lifetimes. So it's fascinating. Just be curious.
Yeah.
See, look into it. And meditation is such a
Exactly.
misunderstood vehicle of understanding the self. Source will tell us to meditate 20 minutes a day. If you can do it twice a day, that's really great. That going within, you go into your heart and you explore.
Yeah.
I learned I always believed in reincarnation, but when I had the excuse to go to a past life therapist, I went to her 3 times and I go, the information's right there. So after accepting that, I just was able to remember my own past lives. And then when Michael came and asked me to join him in a healing practice, I didn't even know I could read other people's past lives until we started the practice. And I'm like, oh, then I could read theirs too.
It's a wonderful thing. I think past lives are, there's a healing that can be done, but there's also gifts to retrieve. And there's a wonderful experiences, and some of them may not be so much that you still may need to heal, but it gives you clarity. It gives you clarity. It really does.
Well,
And
when somebody comes to me and they say, they're having a challenge, and then I'll look and I'll see a past life and I'll read their past life and they go, oh, I still feel the same way. I still say the same things. And so you can see there's always a tie-in, but when you go to the original story and you clear the original story, you can set yourself free in that lifetime and in this one.
Yes. Exactly. And thank you, Kathy, for joining us. We appreciate you. And I know there's a lot of people watching, but we love it when you can chat too. So we think this is wonderful. And is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience that are here?
Well, I will invite people if they want to go to, I have a spiritual gift bundle. And in that spiritual gift bundle, there's a couple of guides that will help people understand some of the information more deeply. One is channeled message from source on why I created you. And the other is transition to heaven, which is really a report on, and it includes like your choices for coming here and some of the process of coming here and then returning to heaven. That might be useful to understand what your divine purpose is. It'll just give you more information. And that's accessible at giftsfromjoy.com.
Wow, that's wonderful. Remember, you guys, just as you can watch this again too, as many times as you want, she's got valuable information here, and it's priceless. And remember to get her book. And how can people get a hold of you now? I mean, I know we're running this down here, but they like to hear it because they'll listen to it and they'll write it down real quick. And they can read it on the bottom that we have your information down there, and they can go to our website too. But how do you have a phone number? Do you have your social media? Can they join you on Facebook or YouTube or anything like that?
Well, I have a group on Facebook called Help from Heaven. You can get there from helpfromheaven.com, joypedersen.com. We'll access everything through there, but I'm on all the social media, and anyone's, if they want to have they're curious about these different experiences and they want to do a get acquainted call to see if we're possible to work together, they can go to talkwithjoy.com and set up a get acquainted call.
No, I think that's wonderful. Because I know you have an email, I know, and then we have it running down below. And we want to remind people that they can get your book. You said they can get it in Amazon. They can get it. Can they get it on your website?
Yes, that's also on my website.
Okay. And you have two books. The one book is in physical form, and the other book is in a Kindle.
It's in Kindle, and I'm starting to work on another one about connecting to your angels.
Ooh, oh, she's got some exciting things coming on. We just want to say thank you, and that we love having you on. And if there's anything else you'd like to share before we close, go ahead.
I just want to leave people with the idea that the world is in better shape than it looks.
Yep. Oh, that's a good note, because it's been rough for a lot of people, and panic and fear in the world. So let them know that the light is there, it's working, and everything is changing. It just takes time for it all to happen. That's good news. That's a good note.
There's so much light coming into the planet that was pushing up things.
Yeah,
for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
If it's your stuff, you can just go within and work on it, or go to a practitioner to help. And if it's happening to other people, just understand that as well, and it doesn't have to impact you.
Yeah, because people get confused with it. That's a good topic, because a lot of people get confused, Absolutely. And thank you so much, Joy, for joining us. We just so love you, and we appreciate all our audience and people who are watching us too. And we bless all, and have a blessed, abundant life. Thank you again.
Thank you.
See you next week.